Hey buds, Smiley here. Today we're going to be talking about primary actions as far as action economy goes in We Can Be Heroes. A primary action in an encounter is going to be 3 AP. Pretty much half of the AP that you get every single turn. It's taking up a lot of your action economy, but they're usually pretty powerful or pretty decisive moves. So to start, we're going to have our superpower attacks. So if you didn't know, superpower attacks always hit, and they cost 3 AP and then 1 Hero's Favor. And the basic formula for what to do is right here. You know, you've got to roll your target die, your superpower die, and your moxie. But since they always hit, you always get a little bit of something, whether it be damage or healing. You can add extra Hero's Favor to increase the impact of that if you wanted to. But all the information you need is right here on how to do it. And we also have more information on the actual superpower section. The only other thing I wanted to mention that some people miss is that you can only use one superpower attack or ability a turn in combat. You can only use it once per turn. So if you had 6 AP, you couldn't go back to back on it. All right. Otherwise, you can use a Hero's Favor for flavor, or favor for utility, we call it. And that's to basically use your power for something that it's not expressly written as, right? You can use a Hero's Favor in that 3 AP, and you wouldn't necessarily do an attack, but you might, let's say if you had ice powers, you might freeze some water to slow down some enemies and disable them. Wouldn't necessarily be doing damage to them, but something that your superpower could plausibly do. And that's really a lot up to your GM and to the way your superpower works. So we've got a little bit in there on page 20 as well for other uses, some examples of that. But otherwise, get creative. Okay, weapon attacks. So this is going to be probably something that this wouldn't always hit a weapon attack. You actually have to roll a d20 and add your modifiers, usually moxie, to see if you will hit by meeting or exceeding the target's DT or damage threshold. And then you roll damage for all that good stuff. So it's good to have in your back pocket as well if you run out of Hero's Favor, but you still need to wallop some enemies. And we'll get into weapons and attacks and that kind of thing, and equipment in another video. And the last of the primary actions is a grapple attack. So if you wanted to try to grab a hold of someone to slow them down or stop them from getting out of your zone, you could use a contested muscle and finesse combined talent check. So that it is your a d20 plus your muscle and your finesse modifier against the target's similar muscle and finesse. If it's contested, then they're rolling the same exact thing. If you do that, you apply the grapple condition to them, which basically means that they can't move until they break free of you, which also is another 3 AP to break that. But once you have them grappled, you can use an additional 3 AP to restrain them. So it's all 6 AP for that, but restrain is a much more powerful condition than grapple. We can actually look at that real quick. So grappled may only make unarmed attacks against the being that's grappling them, and they can attempt to escape using the 3 AP. As said, a restrained being can't move at all and has disadvantage when attempting any sort of attacks, and any attack against them is made with advantage. So pretty strong condition there. And that's going to do it for our primary actions. There's only a couple of things that cost 3 AP. A lot of the other things and actions in this game are going to cost 1 or 2 AP, which we'll get to in another video. But that's what we got here for our primary actions. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.